guys, how's it going? I wanted to share something that just happened. I feel like this is my video diary that you guys are listening to me pour out my heart. But I wanted to share something, just bringing that, or just believing that God would just bring freedom, and that He would just He would speak to your guys' hearts as He's speaking to my heart, just bringing more revelation and just a greater, just a greater revelation of His love for us and His faithfulness in our lives. So I was on I was talking to somebody that's really, really close to me that I love a lot, that I've spent years praying for. And they were kind of verbalizing how they were in a really rough spot. And I could just, I know their situation and their circumstances really well. And they were just kind of verbalizing that they haven't experienced the peace of God, or they haven't experienced any kind of breakthrough literally in years. And so as we were talking on the phone, I was just trying to encourage them with the reality of redirecting the focus on Jesus and off of themselves, and not on to what they need to do or what they don't need to do, but back onto what Jesus has done and what He's promised us, and maybe the purpose and all of this stuff that's happening, right? And so all of that to be said, after I got off the phone, I was just feeling like a weightiness, just kind of like a sadness, because this person that I loved isn't just in this place of oppression. But it was so different because of God's mercy in my life and His faithfulness in my life. I wasn't carrying like a fear, or I wasn't carrying oh God, you need to do something. It was like there was still this peace, but I just could feel this just compassion. I guess that's the best word to describe. And I'm so not used to compassion, because normally I don't care about people at all. Normally if I see people down, like I'll just start kicking them. I'm just joking. But anyways, I was feeling compassion, and instantly like I started getting this picture, and I was seeing Jesus in John 11. It's known as like the shortest scripture in the Bible. It says Jesus wept in John 11:35. And it's when He's approaching Lazarus, who died, right before He raises him from the dead. It says Jesus wept. And I think, like depending on your perspective, it's because God loved Lazarus so much. But I really believe that the perspective was that He cried because of just the unbelief of people. And He was seeing kind of where people were at, but almost in a sense of their refusal to receive kind of what He was offering them, which was the truth and freedom over the things that were separating them from the truth of God's love for them, right? So as I was feeling this, I knew God was saying, I'm allowing you to feel my heart for this person. But again, it wasn't me feeling this fear or feeling this like, oh my gosh, God, fix this person because they're in sin, or they're doing something wrong, or they deserve this. Or even on the other side of it, it was just I was feeling God's heart and His love for this person, and almost like, God, you love this person and you're working in their life, and your heart hurts for them because they're not receiving something from you. It's not because they're not doing something and God's disappointed in them, or because of their sin, or because of the choices that they're making. It's like God knows that we're not capable of any of those things, and His heart breaks for us because we're simply not receiving what He's already accomplished. And I was seeing, as I was praying for this person, that in God's love He'll allow things to continue to manifest and even get worse in areas that will surrender those things to Him, that will trust in Him in these areas where we realize that we've been putting all of our faith in ourselves or in something else, and that as we trust in Him, we might experience that freedom from the things that we're agreeing with that are separating us from the truth of God's love for us. Does that make sense? And so anyways, this whole thing was going on just a little bit ago. And as I was just like acknowledging, God, thank you for your love for this person. I just pray, just your mercy, and that they would have breakthrough, and just whatever it was that I was praying, I heard God say something so interesting, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And I felt I'm going to verbalize it the best way that I could, but I felt like God said the whole purpose, and I know He wasn't saying just this is just the purpose, but the whole purpose in us living this life is us learning how to say no to the enemy and yes to God. Basically, us learning how to say no to the lies that we're hearing all throughout the day and saying, yes, God, I'll trust you. And when I heard God say that, I went into a picture of Adam and Eve in the garden, and I was seeing that when Adam and Eve said yes to Satan, they were saying no to God. And that's obviously the beginning. That's where the fall of man happened. And I was seeing this whole restoration thing that God's been doing in humanity, that through what the sacrifice of Jesus on the cross and his faithfulness in our lives, is we're continuing to say yes to Jesus. Yes, God, I'll believe in you. Yes, I'll trust you. We're learning how to say no to the enemy. Like, no, I'm not going to agree with the fear. I'm not going to agree with the worry. I'm not going to agree with any of that crap. I'm going to continue to trust in you, Lord. And I was seeing how that restoration was happening to where we were being restored back to God's original intention and his original purpose, that we might walk with the Father in the garden. Isn't that cool? And it was so interesting how God brought those things together. Just, we will feel compassion for those that are around us. And my tendency is to start trying to fix things and start trying to tell people what to do, but it doesn't help. But as God's continuing to say, hey, trust me with the people that are around me, trust me with yourself, that you might become part of what I'm doing, we still feel that compassion and we can still feel that sorrow for them. But there's also this hope and this joy that's there of, God, you're working, you're constantly allowing situations to permeate and manifest in people's lives so they can invite you into an area that they might receive freedom over that thing that's bringing oppression and separation from the truth of your love for that person. So I hope that speaks to you guys, and I hope it makes sense. And thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon. God bless you.